TikTok is getting more popular every day. Only a few people know that there is a dark side to this platform. It can be used for horrible deeds and footage that will shock you. Can you imagine receiving a TikTok of your best friend being tortured? Well, this group of friends can. Tonight's story is about Mark and his friends. Like teenagers tend to do, they have made plans to go on a refreshing trip and have fun. But this fun is interrupted when an uninvited guest intrudes on their trip by sending them shocking videos. Make sure you stick to the end and never make the same mistake they made. Welcome to your next Chills Before Sleep. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more scary stories. I was awoken and greeted by the same wretched notification. I had come to hate that sound. It filled me up with a primal fear. My phone pinged. I hesitated, but I had to pick it up eventually anyway. I knew that this notification would inform me of where my best friend is, but I was dreading that knowledge, afraid that she would be dead by now. I picked up my phone and saw the TikTok DM that had been sent to me by the same imageless profile. I gulped and willed myself to open it. I was met with a truly horrifying sight. The TikTok showed my best friend suspended from the ceiling, with chains binding her wrist and her ankles. Beside her was a large man with a mask on. He had a big butcher's knife in his hand and was laughing maniacally. The large man kept bringing the knife closer to my friend, in response to which she let out a muffled scream from behind her gagged mouth. There was another ping as the same profile sent me a text. "Come get her," it said. I sobbed a little and picked up my gun. I guess I really did have no choice. You're probably thinking how I got stuck in this situation. Well, my name is Mark, and I'm a college freshman. My best friend Sierra and our other mutual friends had decided to go on a weekend retreat to a cabin in the woods. We had all known each other for the past 6 years, since we all went to the same high school. I wasn't afraid at all, but I did have that gun for safety. In today's day and age, you never can be too sure. We were all having a relaxing holiday, that was, until we heard a broadcast on the radio.
Attention all listeners. This is to inform you that there has been a breakout in the North Hill Mental Asylum. Everyone living close is advised to stay inside and lock all doors and windows. If you see something suspicious, please contact the police.
Needless to say, it shocked us all. We were 6 people living in a cramped cabin, and no one had any foresight to bring in a satellite phone. I went outside to check if there was any signal, but due to us being in a hilly area, there was none. I asked everyone to check, but Sierra said the last time there had been a signal was when she had posted a TikTok near the last bus station. There hadn't been a signal since. We had passed by the North Hill Mental Asylum. Suddenly we got a notification on our phones. There was somehow signal again. I checked mine and I saw that there was a text. "I'm here," it said. We all looked at each other, puzzled. We had all received the same text from the same profile. "That's so weird," said Sam and Jasper. They were twin brothers, and they insisted on doing everything together. "We're going for a hunt," said Jasper. I asked them what they were going to hunt, and they said they would go hunt a deer. I did ask them not to go, because there could potentially be a dangerous person on the loose. They just shrugged me off and called me a neurotic Nancy. They exited the cabin and went off hunting anyway. I asked them to call me if they got any signal, because the signal had apparently disappeared after the TikTok was received. Now it was just the 4 of us: Sierra, Mary, Ken, and I. Sierra and Mary were cousins, and Ken was just a good friend of ours. Mary and Ken were watching an old movie together while Sierra and I made dinner together. It was fun working with her, and together we made sliders, corn, and mashed potatoes. We set the table and called Ken and Mary. We were about to have dinner when we got a ping that alerted us. We had all received another TikTok DM. It was a video. What we saw next horrified us. There was a video of Sam and Jasper. Their hands were tied to the back of a motorboat and their feet were tied to the dock. Their mouths were gagged and they were both crying. The camera turned to reveal a large man in the motorboat. He had a mask on. Suddenly, the man switched the motorboat on. It started, and so did our friend's screams. They were the most earth-shattering, ear-splitting screams I've ever heard, and we all watched in horror as our friends were split in half. They were still alive for a few seconds after they were detached from their lower halves. The expression on their faces was one of pure terror and shock, as if what happened was only possible in video games. Mary hurled and threw up on seeing the grisly sight, and Sierra shrieked. Kenneth closed his eyes and put his phone down. I just sat there in shock, not knowing what to do. That's when we heard a sound of glass shattering coming from the bedroom. Immediately, we closed the bedroom door and barricaded it shut. We discussed what could possibly be happening, and we decided to stay up in shifts, keeping guard. Eventually, we did have a dinner, and we went to sleep still not believing that our lovable friends were gone. Mary was particularly upset since she was dating Sam before he was ripped away from the world by the hands of a complete psychopath. We took our shifts, and at last I woke up Mary because her shift was the last one. When we finally awoke for good, the main door was open and Mary was nowhere to be found. There was a paper left by Mary. I refuse to believe he's dead. I'm going out to look for him. We were devastated when we read this. Mary had been more upset than we thought, and now she was gone. She's probably still out there, man, said Kenneth, taking a knife. I'm gonna go look for her. I tried to stop him, but he wouldn't listen. I gave him a gun and told him to stay safe. Sierra and I stayed inside the cabin and locked all the doors. A few hours after Kenneth went away, Sierra and I got another TikTok DM. I told Sierra to call the police while we did have a signal. She went ahead to do that while I checked out the DM I had gotten. There was a video again. The video showed Mary with her hands clasped together behind her back and gagged. Her mascara was running down her face and she was crying. The video changed views again and showed the same large masked man with a rope in his hand. The rope was attached to a noose placed around Mary's neck. Then, to my terror, the man started pulling the rope. Mary started rising up from the ground, suspended in the air by her neck. I hoped her neck would just snap and she would die immediately, but the death was not as painless as I would have wished it to be. She was struggling, her legs flailing under her. Her screams were getting more muffled and weaker by the second. She was being choked, and after an agonizing 5 minutes, she finally passed away as her body went limp. What was it? Asked Sierra with a concerned look on her face. I told her Mary was gone as well. She told me she had called the police, but all the units were busy with the mental asylum and they could only rescue us tomorrow. I decided we would take matters into our own hands. I told Sierra that we will take the car and look for Ken, and if we don't find him, we will go away anyway. We took the car and we searched all the surrounding areas. We looked for hours and hours. The sun was setting as we both received another DM. It was the same profile, another TikTok. Sierra was driving at the time, so I braved it and decided to check the video. It was a video of Kenneth. He was tied to a table and he was gagged. He was looking very disheartened and he was crying out loud for help, but it was muffled. The video changed and we saw the same masked large man again, but with a chainsaw in his hand. In a few seconds, he was ignoring Ken's pleas for mercy, and he launched the chainsaw into his skull. As blood and brain matter fell down the table and stained the clothes of the crazy man, I saw the life leave my dear friend. I put a hand over my mouth to stop myself from screaming. "Is Ken?" asked Sierra, not daring to complete the sentence. I nodded solemnly. Sierra didn't say anything, just nodded. "Sierra, watch out!" I screamed as I looked to the road and saw a deer in front of us. She swerved to avoid hitting the deer, and our car crashes into a tree. The last thing I remember before losing consciousness was the large man walking slowly towards us. When I woke up, it was really late and Sierra was gone. I got a notification on my phone, and it was a video DM from the same TikTok account. It was a video of Sierra chained up with the masked man. I sat up, somewhat dizzy and feeling nauseous. I walked to the trunk of the car and got my gun out. The background of the video showed that they were in the cabin. I was going to go there and end this. It was around midnight when I reached the cabin. I shot the door's handle and it opened. I ran into the cabin to see Sierra chained up, and the masked man was standing behind her, putting a knife around her neck. She saw me and her eyes instantly sparkled. She swung her body backwards and hit the man. This took the man by surprise. I found my opening and I shot him in the leg. However, he was unfazed. He lunged at me and had me pinned on the ground. My gun was knocked out of my hand and landed out of reach. I tried to reach my gun with one hand as I tried to fight off the big man with the other. The big man started choking me and I started blacking out. Soon, I was about to pass out. That's when I heard a really loud bang. The man collapsed on top of me. I passed out as well. When I woke up, I was in a hospital with Sierra by my side. The police had arrived right on time to save us. Later, I came to learn that the large man was one of the people who had escaped from the asylum. He had stolen a phone and had seen Sierra's TikTok. That's how he knew we were here. After a few weeks, we went back to campus. But things changed. Along with the obvious emptiness following my friend's death, people would look at Sierra and I funny. We were no longer just people. We were now survivors. Sierra was plagued by guilt over posting that TikTok. We are still reeling from the incident, and I post this story to warn all you listeners. If you want to go camping with your friends, always make sure you keep your location secret and take things to defend yourself, lest you end up being chased by someone who wants to make that trip your last. Thank you for watching this video. Have you experienced a similar situation or another scary experience? Don't hesitate to submit your story by email or in the comments section down below. Ready for your next chills before sleep? Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for us to provide you with more scary stories. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to enable all notifications. Be the first one to get the chills.